Hey, guess what? What?
It is I, Rubex! Ladies and gentlemen, my name is RipperX. Welcome to Melee Battlegrounds. Melee Battlegrounds is currently in early alpha, but has some very unique features that we're going to talk about today in this video. This is my official first glimpse of the video. Essentially, this is the first footage that I've seen so far. So let's take a step back here and look at one of the devs behind Melee Battlegrounds. The man, the myth, the legend, Chads. For those of you who don't know who Chads is the man behind one of the most epic mods off of Mount and Blade Warband, CRPG. CRPG took the concept of everything in Mount and Blade and added new elements in the mod itself, like character development, character levels, getting to a certain level to obtain a certain level armor, weapons, and more. So let's take a look at some of the features in Melee Battlegrounds. In a nutshell, Melee Battlegrounds has multiplayer, medieval action, third person, skills and levels, building castles, assaulting castles, directional combat, siege equipment, you can buy weapons and armor, level up your characters, and again, the entire game is skill-based. You can manually block and attack, which makes a good player, and a bad player, bad player. A good player can take on multiple players, depending on how they play, and a bad player like myself will die a lot. Let's take a look at some of the early alpha combat. This is very early, this is a test build. That said, you will be able to see the manual blocking and attacking taking place. Obviously the character models are all the same. Who cares? This is early alpha. It's not about looking good, it's about having the core fundamentals of the gameplay work. You're going to be able to meet hundreds of other players on a huge medieval battleground. Battle it out with the reaction-based combat system. There are various game modes to add to this. For example, 1 versus 1 duels,
round-based team battles,
last man standing, castle assault, which is essentially a huge sandbox where both teams build castles on the fly and conquer those to seize territorial control. If you want to be a warrior with an axe, you can be a warrior with an axe. If you want to be an archer with light armor and high bow proficiency, you can do that as well. If you want to be a cheap cav player, you can hide behind your horse and be a cheap cav player if you wanted to do that. And the best part about it, there are no predefined classes. Anything goes. You can be, 50% archer, 50% warrior, or whatever you want to do, you can do that, just like CRPG. Now, Melee Battlegrounds is still in early development. This is early alpha, guys. From what I hear, there is going to be a Kickstarter, potentially in November 2014. Now, anything that Chads is behind gets me very excited. The guy is a genius. He's a very good developer. I'm sure some of you already know about Melee Battlegrounds, but I'm sure a lot of you don't know about Melee Battlegrounds. And if you are a big medieval fan like myself, if you love Mount and Blade, this is definitely a project worth keeping an eye on. From what I hear as well, there could be potential beta early 2015, possibly later on this year as well. It just depends what happens. Another nice thing to see is, well, day and night cycles. It looks like they have a very good engine that they're working with already. Incredibly nice. There's going to be ship combat apparently, or ships in the game. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen with that. It's nice to see the sun come up and the sun set. Let's take a break here for a second and listen to Chads. Chads is going to talk about the physics engine, which is, in my opinion, one of the most important parts of the game, and skill-based gameplay. Let's take a listen.
But okay, I think it's time to get to the combat. So first of all, I want to say the combat is still a very early prototype. That means the animations are not yet entirely there where we need them. They are still a bit clumsy, both blocking and attacking. Also how the animations are played and what order, with what duration, that's all stuff that's still gonna change heavily over the future. It's a very complex thing, and that's why it's far from finished. But it's already a working prototype. We have a bit of a damage system. It's more of a placeholder, but it works somewhat. And the most important thing I think we have is that the hits are not calculated, they are actually registered by the physics engine, which means all the bodies and all the objects and all the weapons are actually really objects in the physics engine. You can see that here when you attack with a weapon, then the other weapon really registers the hit. It means the physics engine registers that one object is in the place of another one. and this is how the combat will work. This is very interesting because it means you can block even though you block in one direction, as long as you hold it properly so your weapon touches his weapon. And this is something that could prove to be a very interesting combat system. Of course, we still need to figure out if it's actually really playable, and also how many players we can support with it, and yeah, and if it, most of all, of course, if it's fun. But I think we're onto something here, and we're looking very much forward to how this is going to be in the future.
Again, very early glimpse into Melee Battlegrounds. What do you guys think so far? Would love your comments and feedback below this video. More information on Melee Battlegrounds, take a look below this video in the description. I will post the link to their official website. They are taking alpha signups. Kickstarter should be November. I'll keep you guys updated. Anything I learn, I will definitely post more Melee Battlegrounds updates on my channel.